to another episode of Baja Tales and Travels. I'm your host, Dee Marie, and today we're going to be talking with Pat Cerecedes from the Senior Animal Sanctuary here in Rosarito. So thank you, Pat. Welcome.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you for inviting me here,
Right.
Dee Marie.
So tell us a little bit, where are you from originally?
I'm from El Monte, California.
Oh,
It's
okay.
about maybe 20 minutes before LA.
Right.
It's in the San Gabriel Valley. And I was born in East LA Hospital, but I was raised in El Monte.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what did you do when you lived up there before moving here?
Well, of course, I went to school. I went to college. And then I started getting into the business sector. I was, most of my years, I was a senior buyer,
Okay.
contractor. I did take a time out for maybe 5 years. I went back to school into automotive technology,
Hmm.
and I ended up with a position with a rock quarry called Al Rock as an operations engineer. I loved it. I loved it. I was probably the first woman in that industry.
Did you say a rock quarry?
Uh-huh. Al Rock. It was in Azusa, right in the foothills. And it was a amazing, amazing job. I loved it.
Wow.
They ended up having downsizing, and so me being on the lower
Mm-hmm.
employment, I was let go. I worked there like over 4 years,
Oh,
but
wow.
I loved it. And then
Mm.
I went back into the industry of a buyer.
So what brought you here to Baja, Rosarito?
Well, I really didn't think I was going to come here. I was like 47 years old. I was having problems health wise
Oh,
with my heart, and I had fibromyalgia, and I knew I was going to have to leave work, right? So I thought, you know what? I know I'm going to be on a fixed income. I'm going to have to find some place. I know I wasn't going to make it in the States. I knew
well,
it.
and especially in
I
California
knew
with
it,
the prices there.
sure. And so I said, you know what? Let me go. See, because I'm used to coming up here with my family. We used to go to Ensenada in the summer for vacations. I've only went to Rosarito here once. And something said, you know what? Let me go see what it's like in Rosarito. And I came out here and I found a place over there by Pemex. It's a
Okay.
Baja Mar, right in front. I rented a bottom part of a house, like an apartment. And I said, I'm going to rent here and live here. I had 3 doggies at the time. I rescued one, a mother. She was pregnant, and I brought 2 of her puppies with me. And so my last year of work, I lived here. And I said, wow, I love it. So, I didn't mind doing that. And then I finally had to give up work, so I went on medical leave. And so I've been out here. And what happened is that, I knew seeing all the dogs out on the Seneca being run over and, just
Right.
dogs all over. And I thought, oh my God, I want to do something with my life that's going to help and make a purpose, especially with dogs out here. And so that's what I did. I had put the word out with the realtor. I said, I'm looking for some place to set up to have a dog rescue, And he brought me up here to El Rancho Miradores, right past Popola, right up where the military checkpoint up in the hills.
Okay.
I was led there like 2 times by 2 different people, and I said, you know what, this must be the place. He says, you know what, we have a mobile home trailer. It's on a lot. It's for rent to own.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up there, and there was only 4 of us who lived up there at the time. They were all ranches. You had horses, you had cows running all over the place. And there was only 4 of us up there with trailer mobile homes. And I said, you know what? This is where it's gonna be. Because I would see dogs. I don't know. People take dogs up there and dump them, or dogs have puppies and they're running all over the place. And at that time, we had coyotes coming down, bobcats coming
Wow.
down. Mountain lions. I mean, we had them.
Here in Rosarito. Oh,
Oh yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah. They still do. I mean, people have lived up there now, and I think they kind of run them away. But you hear them when they come. I'll tell a story about the last dog came. She was pregnant. Anyway. So anyway, I ended up contracting a lot.
So how long ago was that?
2009.
2000. Oh, wow. So there's a lot more people living up there now, I know for sure.
Yeah,
So
there are a lot. It's not really a lot, but there are more houses
yeah.
up there.
So that probably helped with the wildlife animal. I couldn't believe
Yeah, but
bobcats and stuff.
they come down because from the mountains up past us, going like 2,000 up. it's all open,
Right,
and there
right,
are mountains, and there are places where they can come down from the hills, and the water comes down. We have what we call little rushings of rivers that come down when it rains, and it goes out to the
uh,
ocean. So they come and make their way
right.
down. But yeah, it was really, when I was up the first time up here. It was kind of scary because you can hear the female lion, as a mountain lion, and they would come down, and she would be in heat, and she would be screaming.
Oh, wow.
The dogs would actually tremble when they heard her, and I thought, oh my god, you know. But you'd never see her. I lived up there about a year and a half without light. There was no electricity. So, and
Wait a
I
minute, you had no electricity.
I pretty much live off the grid up there. I
Oh,
mean,
do
there is
you?
electricity now,
Okay.
but you have septic tanks, and
Right.
the water gets trucked in. I
Right.
get I get well water. It's really good water. I
Mm-hmm.
have it filtered, and it's great to drink. I love it. It's
Right.
clean, except for calcium. But and but I love it. It's like, to me, it's like camping 24/7.
Wow.
You know,
So you've always obviously been a dog person,
animal person, yeah,
right?
wildlife person. I love
Okay.
it. I love it, and I love nature that way.
Okay.
And see, to me, this was helpful for my therapy. l- Making a change from California, from the U.S., to a much slower
Mm,
lifestyle here,
it is.
you
It
know,
is.
because it was the stress. The stress was the killer for me, and me being a workaholic, it had to be a big change for me.
Wow. Was that difficult for you to make that change?
It took about a year to get used to out here because it was very slow, especially like if you go to the market and they're very slow and they're talk. I love it now because they talk to people, and I don't mind it now. I find it relaxing. But before I was like, just hurry up, okay, just hurry up when you know. And if you go to like pay your electric bill or something, it's great because they have places you can sit down on your seat and wait for your number to come up. So it was a big change for me
I think
coming out
that's
here.
something that, people that don't live in Mexico don't appreciate. I mean, California is a very fast-paced lifestyle. I feel it every time I drive across the border to go see my family. As
Exactly,
soon as I get across, I feel that tension. There's so many cars and everybody's
you
rushing and
do.
people are walking. So, yeah, that's another plus for our area here. You
Yeah,
you slow down, you enjoy life a little bit better. So now you have a senior dog sanctuary. Is it strictly senior dogs or
it
just any
was.
dog?
It was. What happened is that when I first started out here, I just opened up a dog sanctuary. And if you go through my photos on the Facebook, you'll see me when I first started the dog sanctuary, right? And
So we have some photos right now going on.
yeah, and yeah, that's where we are now, how I have it. In back of that property, I lived before 2009 to 2018. I had two lots. That's the other lots I had, that one. And that I had grown, it was like 800 meters big, and I had worked on it. What had happened is that the first lot I had, I contracted to rent and to own.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner wanted to sell it. I said, what do you mean you wanted to sell it? I'm here. He goes, well, you can buy it, you know.
Uh,
So what I ended up doing, I ended up getting an attorney. I got an attorney, right?
Here in Mexico.
Oh yeah,
Oh, oh.
yeah. And what happens? We had to go to the court and put it in court. My payments had to be made into the court,
Like
right?
an escrow kind of thing.
Yeah. And this guy would get his payments. He didn't want to get his payments. He didn't want to get his money, right? He just left it there. I don't know. But anyway, 4 months, 5 months go along, and I was making my payments, which I tell everybody: never make your payments to the attorney. Make it to the court, because what happened is that his son was the paralegal, and I'd go make my payment to him. He'd give me the receipt, right? So I take it. They were supposed to deposit it in there to the court,
Mm-hmm.
right? The father goes, Pat, I got a message from the court. You're not making your payment. I said,
Oh no.
what? I said, what do you mean? I go, I got my papers. I've been paying your son. He's a paralegal. He goes, oh, well, no. I said, you better talk to him. So right away, what I did is I went to the court and I got the log. I wanted to see the log, and sure enough, they weren't making payments for like the 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
So, I got another attorney. right? I said, this guy, they're ripping my money off, right? And the court doesn't have my money, my payments, so they're gonna default on this, right?
Uh,
So I get this attorney who is supposedly the president of all the attorneys around. Okay, I mean I paid like $2,800, okay,
uh-huh.
and he goes, "Don't worry, we'll get the money back." So he contacted the attorney and says, "You know, you better come up with that money, or we're gonna have your license taken away." Well, we went to court. We sat there. Here he comes. He's kind of mad and stuff. He had the money. He gave me the money. So here I'm thinking, okay, we had the money. We're going to go in the court. Now, the court, they have secretaries. They're not judges. They're just secretaries that do
Mhm.
all this stuff, right? So we have the meeting with her, and then the guy who had the property is there. So the attorney tells him, okay, this attorney brought the money that they didn't deposit for me. We're willing to pay it here and continue the payment. She tells me, we're really sorry for your situation, but that's your problem. That's what she told me. It's your,
Oh,
I could not believe it, right? And she goes, well, we're going to have to go ahead and go along with so and so, the owner that defaulted on the contract, and you have to give it up because so I was so angry.
so now this was the land where you had your first
Well, I have,
set of.
yeah.
Oh.
And see, it was just wasn't his. I had bought the property next to him. It's a larger property, right?
Hmm.
And that was okay. It was this one, right? So I told the attorney, I said, what am I gonna do? I said, this isn't right. He goes, don't worry. He goes, we'll appeal it, and we'll take it to the court. The main court is in Mexicali, you know, and we'll go ahead. And he goes, I'm sure they'll pass the appeal and make it okay. COVID came around, right?
Oh.
So here it is, COVID, and the courts are closed. So I go on with my life, and every so often I check in with the attorney. He goes, no, it's okay. They're closed, blah blah blah. And he went on vacation or whatever. So here I am, you know, at the sanctuary, and I see like about 9 or 8 cars coming. And where I live I lived in a cul-de-sac.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and thank God I had my one neighbor Julia, man. She was God sent. And here comes about 8 or 9 cars at that. Oh, they're probably lost. And there's a police car, and I think, wow, they're probably running after somebody or something. So I go out there and greet them. And here comes this woman with a cart, what do you call it? One of those. Anyway, she had a,
Clipboard.
yeah. She says, are you Teresa Cerecedes? Like, oh yeah. She goes, I'm sorry, but you lost your case and you have to vacate. I'm like, what? You know what?
So they're basically evicting you like on the
Yeah,
spot?
yeah. I said, what? And she goes, and I got my phone. And I called my attorney, and I go. I told him. I says they're here, and they say I have to vacate. He goes, what? He goes, I don't know nothing about it. He says, and I thought to
Oh.
myself, didn't you go to the? Weren't you checking in at the courts to see when I had a court date? Because she says it was July, and here she's in October. And I said, oh my God, you know. So these people wasted no time. They started pulling my stuff out.
No. And
My
how many
neighbor,
dogs did you have at that time?
28. Okay,
Oh.
they didn't get God. They didn't touch the dogs, right? And Julia, her husband had just passed, and she came. She saw them coming. She knew my situation, and she was at one point a witness to some stuff.
Hmm.
And she goes, Pat, don't worry about it. She goes, just let them put your stuff out. She goes, you come over here. She has a big estate. Bring the dogs here, you know. So thank God. My other neighbor in back, who I am now renting the property, and I fixed up for the sanctuary. She told, come over here. She drove over here. Come over here and put your dogs, because she lives up north with her daughter. But she didn't have a fence well for the dogs. I said, I can't, Maria. I go, but thank you. You know, so they were really great people. So what happens? Yes, I ended up moving in with Julia, right? And it kind of worked out good because her husband died there at the house.
Oh.
He was working on it. He fell and broke his neck. And so she goes, come and live over here and you can rent the other house, which would work out for her, right? So I did. I lived there for like 3 years. Me and the dogs, all of them.
So are these dogs that just wander up or
Yeah, they're all there. They're all from there.
from that area?
They're
Yeah.
all abandoned dogs, neglected dogs, abused dogs. You know, um, and
I'm sure some of them come to you probably pretty bad physical shape.
yeah, even till now, not only the dogs that I have now on the premises, I have dogs on the outside, and they come with mange and skinny, and so I feed them. I treat them for the mange, whatever infections I treat them, Yeah, they end up healthy. And, these dogs come from somewhere. They live somewhere, but the people don't take care of them. You know.
Yeah, I've
Um,
heard of people just getting tired and then sometimes people pass away and they've had dogs and people don't know what to do with those dogs and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
sad.
yeah.
So so how big of a now you built like little I think we had photos of that somewhere, but you had like little pens you built for all the
Yeah, I
dogs and
have
little
like
dog
little yards, little yard
okay.
areas. And what happens is that the older dogs, they go out after they eat. They walk around. They've been there since they were small,
You've had them since they were
babies. Every dog there has been there since they were puppies.
oh, because I thought by the name senior, I'm thinking there was just the
Oh yeah,
older
they're
dogs
seniors. They
but
grew to
now
be seniors.
wow.
They've all
Wow. So
grown.
that's been their life. That's like a little orphanage for the dogs
Yeah,
in a way.
and then I take care of the dogs. I wish I had room for them, but there's a lot of dogs that for years I've taken care of, but they live outside and they do have a home, but they don't take care of them.
So wait a minute. They show up, they're like wandering around. So you know that they have an owner up there,
Yeah,
but they just wander around during the day and
yeah, but up there it's like you're in the country. You're not in the city. It's all country. So there's hardly anybody that runs around, except the people that live there, and people let their dogs run around. I mean, you got horses coming around, you know. Once in a while, they let the cows come out,
wow. A little bit different than El Monte, I'd
It's
say.
a lot different, It's a lot different than Rosarito City, It's
Well,
it's
that's
it's
true too,
it's a
yeah.
countryside, and that's why I like it, and
And that's weird because it's not that far off the main road and you're in a totally different kind of an environment.
yeah.
So, is it just you with the dogs, or do you have help?
No, it's just me. I have a routine. I've always done that. I'm good at multitasking, you
Well, with
know.
that many dogs, you'd have
Yeah,
to be.
yeah. So I do that. I mean, to me, it's just a normal. I have a routine. I know who I feed first, and then right away I clean up afterwards. Because
Yeah.
after I clean it up, and I always keep it clean. There's nothing like having dogs
Well, yeah, I
dirty.
have one dog, and I know it isn't enough to keep him,
Yeah,
him, in check.
yeah. I
So,
mean, every week when they come from the trash, I give them a little tip. Because those guys, I get big industrial bags, and I don't fill them up too heavy, but I fill them up and put them out there, and the guys
wow.
from the trash take them out.
Now, do you have names for all the dogs?
All dogs have to have a name.
All
That's
dogs.
it. That's their identity. To me, the dog has to have a name. And even the ones on the outside, I give them a name.
So,
Yeah.
you said what's the one that's been there? I mean, how many? What would be the typical term that they've been there? You said some started at puppies. How old?
Well,
I mean, do you?
the first picture you had when 2009, there were some three little doggies, and those I brought with me from Almani. There, the
Oh, those.
mother, a small one in the bottom, she's a Chihuahua mixed. She had two twins, also in junior.
All of these dogs are so darn cute. Like that one
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
Gee,
And the oldest dog passed away about last year. He was 18 and a half.
wow.
That was also junior. And the only reason why I had to put him to sleep because he had bladder failure. Other than that, he was okay. But he had bladder failure. He
Wow.
just,
So I'm assuming you also, besides feeding them and picking up of them, you also have to worry about like vet
yeah,
care and
yeah,
stuff for them.
yeah. Through the years, because I've learned through certain illnesses with dogs and what to carry and what to
Mm-hmm.
look for, uh, coughs and if they have wounds and stuff like that need antibiotics and stuff. I do carry that. I have it there so that I can treat them. You know, um, and if it's something outside of that, then I have my vet that I take them to. And like Sherry, I'm taking her tomorrow. She's 16 and she has a growth on her side, and he's gonna take it off. You know,
Mm.
because those, if they get any bigger, they can get infected and they'll spread through the body.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and I have a pit bull. He's 16, and this last year he's been through three surgeries. We've taken off three growths, cancer on the skin. So I had to have that taken off. He's doing well.
Wow.
But if you don't take it off, it'll spread, and if fisters, it'll start bleeding, and those bleed out a lot. They bleed
Oh.
out a lot.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they're outside and bumping up against the other dog. That's probably not
Yeah, yeah. I
good
don't
for them.
keep in the areas they're not crowded in. I don't keep like the little areas where they sleep and stuff. Like I said, the big dogs they sleep, they come and sleep, and they go out for the walks. They're old, so old dogs aren't active like the other little dogs would be, right?
Yeah,
And
there's a
they
lot
all
of
they do, they just sleep and go for the walk. They visit the other dogs and the neighbors, and they come back. Then I have the younger dogs in the back that have come to the facility, and they're all together and they play and whatever, but they just hang out and sleep and
Now I know there are a lot of different organizations down here that are dog rescues, and
right.
a lot of them, are finding them on the street or whatever, and then rehabilitating them and taking them to be adopted out. But it sounds like you have a little bit different vision for your sanctuary.
I honestly, there's a lot of dogs. I mean, there's a lot of rescues.
Right.
If they're not, if they're not adopted within those 3 days, they're not going anywhere because those dogs have already bonded, and I've already bonded
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot taking care of them, not just physically, but there's an emotional bond.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if somebody right away doesn't want a dog, no, no. I mean, I'd rather have the dog stay at the sanctuary. They'll be happy. They'll be in the elements. They'll be
Mm-hmm.
fed. They'll be cared for.
And they've got a lot of friends.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, the kind of push, push, push dogs. No, I don't like that. I don't.
So you're not your approach is not to try and get people to come and adopt them necessarily. But what if somebody showed up and they fell in love with one of your dogs? Would you be willing to let them?
No,
No.
no,
Those are
because
your
that's
babies.
their home. Not
That
just
is
my
your home.
babies. That's their home. You got to realize when you take a dog like that away,
Mm-hmm.
it really does some damage to them. I want to say trust wise, it does damage to them, and it takes a while for them to get used to the new family, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
you can see it when they leave. It's hurtful to them,
Right.
and that's hurtful. That's not, I hate to see that in a dog's face when they're taken away. They're like, I did that once, and it was a Danny boy. He died when he was 14. He was a big dog, and some lady said, "Oh, adopt him, okay." And he was leaving with Danny, and then Danny was crying at the window, and I said,
Oh.
"Oh no, I can't do it." And I called her back. I said, "No, bring him back. I can't give him to you."
Oh
I
my
saw
gosh.
that how it was hurting him. I said,
Yeah.
"No,
Yeah.
no, no," and no, he lived to be 14. He was 14
So
years old.
so your vision truly is that that is their home for
Mm,
the rest of their life.
yeah,
Now, do you have a limit to how many dogs you would
I
take
have
in?
31, and I can't do anymore only because I don't have space.
Right.
My dogs aren't cramped in, or
Mm-hmm.
they're happy. They have room. They play. They have freedom.
Right.
I don't cramp them in. If I took more dogs, then they would be cramped, and I can't do that.
Right.
You know. Um.
But that's a lot to take care of. And how much food do you normally go through in a day?
Well, a 50-pound bag lasts 2 days,
2 days.
so I go over 700 pounds a month.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a dog food, and that's. But don't forget, I'm feeding my dogs here, and then on the outside, there's another 10 or 12 dogs that I feed, and they come in the morning and in the evening. They come to eat twice. You know.
Oh my gosh. So it's not just the dogs in your sanctuary you're feeding.
No, I feed the
Oh,
dogs on the outside.
wow. You have such a big heart for dogs. Oh
I love animals, and I love animals, and it hurts me to see them suffer like that. It hurts me to see kids suffer like
my.
that.
Right. Right.
I tell myself, part of me is like, if I had the money, I would open up an orphanage. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I hate to see, you know, people suffer. I hate it.
So you talked earlier about the bobcats and coyotes and things like that.
Yeah.
How do you protect the dogs now from
Well,
that?
they're fenced in, and they don't come around a lot. But what happened? It's been 6 months or 7 months. This German Shepherd showed up in front of our gate, and she was pregnant. She looked like she had saddlebags on the side. She was that pregnant. Big,
Wow.
big dog. I thought, where did you come from? 'Cause I know you don't live around here. So 2 weeks she was out there, and I'd feed her, and I put a big doghouse out there for her because I knew she wasn't going to go nowhere, right? So she was starting to like have problems, like going to have labor. So I brought the big house in, and I brought her in, and I made a pen for her. She had 16 puppies.
Wow. 16.
Yeah,
Gee.
and 8 survived. Okay, so I got, oh my God, what am I gonna do with these dogs? At one point, I thought, what if I put them asleep? I was like against the wall. So anyway, I had her in there and her puppies, and 8 puppies. Every morning, I'd take the doghouse apart and clean it up, and count the puppies. Well, one was missing. Oh my God, where'd it go? So I looked around. I go, she didn't eat it. It's not around. Where did it go? So okay, I put them back, and next morning's fine. 2 days later, another dog's missing.
Oh no.
So there's only 6 puppies now. They're small. They're like 3 weeks old, 2 weeks old. They're small. I said, something's going on here,
Oh.
right? So I was at my vet because I took one of my other dogs to the vet, and I asked him, I go, you know what? I had 2 puppies missing. He goes, a cat. I said, a cat. He goes, that's the only thing. I said,
A
I
bobcat.
know, I know there's big birds that are out there. There's big birds, and I know what kind of bird it is, but it's huge. I think, no. He goes, the cat can go in and jump out quickly, easy, and those
Oh.
dogs would never know it hit them. So it must be a little cat. Well, what happened is that in the evening, in the morning, I have dogs. I have like uh, dogs inside the trailer set up to where they have their own little houses, their own little not little houses, kennels. And so I let them go to the bathroom like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I open the doors, and they go out, and they stop, and they started to smell around. I thought they're probably smelling the cat because they didn't want to go out right away, you know. And so I thought, yeah, it must be a cat
Wow.
because they were like, they
Oh.
smelled it, and I said it must have been the cat. So what I did, I took the mom. I had a storage room. I took the mom and my puppies, and I put them in there,
Hmm.
and they were in there until they got bigger. And then I made some arrangements. So
So obviously your biggest challenge is food.
yeah, food and I asked for blankets
Oh, and blankets
once in
also.
a while.
So
Yeah,
they and if somebody wanted to donate, how would they get in touch with you? Just through Facebook, through your, I mean, if they
yeah,
wanted to bring
yeah,
dog food.
yeah. On donate, just go ahead and message me on there, and
Okay.
you know,
Yeah, because
and I'm always there. I
that is your life, huh?
yeah. I mean, I go like I have to go to the bank, and I hate going across, because I get that stress feeling. But I go once a month, and then I'll go a couple of days. I'll have to go to the market and get supplies and stuff like that.
Right.
But other than that, most of the time I'm there.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, you know, this is fascinating and touching. I mean, I'm a dog lover.
yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like to have 31. But I can tell that you just love these dogs, and I know
I
you've got a
do.
lot of
I
challenges.
do.
And hearing your story now, I appreciate that you took the time to come out here and share your story with
Oh, thank
everybody.
you so much.
S-
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
and to our audience, whether you're an animal lover or not, I hope you would think about this and perhaps consider donating either some dog food or some blankets or even some money so that, Pat can go out there and continue to give these dogs the homes that they deserve. I mean, this is a loving story. You've created a
Oh.
wonderful sanctuary is the perfect name for it. Um, and these are the kind of stories we want to share on Baja Tales and Travel. It's real stories, real people, real Baja. I know there's a lot of you out there that have touching stories like this. You come down to Baja, and it's not just about drinking those margaritas and eating those tacos. A story like this where you uh, take care of animals or whatever. You have a story you want to share, please reach out to us. Send us an email at studio212team@gmail.com, and we'd love to feature you on a future episode of Baja Tales and Travels. But until then, Pat, thank you again. I wish you all the luck with those wonderful dogs, and I hope that people will see this
Mm,
and perhaps donate some food, some
right.
blankets, and we'll get the word out about the dog sanctuary.
God
So
bless
thank you
you.
for what you
Thank
do for
you.
the dogs.
Thank you, Dee Marie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's it for our episode. Till next time,
Thank you.
see you guys.
Bye.